Well, hello there, people that are listening to again. I'm TheMBmulti. Welcome to part 37 of My Doki Doki SNAFU. In the previous episodes, we did Sayori's route. So in this episode, we're going to do the Natsuki route, and then after that, we only have the Eureka route left. Like I said, I'm not going to go for every single possible ending and all the friendship ending and the love ending with everybody. I'm just going to do the these routes now, and then if you guys are interested in this mods, you can try out the other endings for yourself. Yeah, I did the full playthrough on Yuri's ending, and I just want to see the other ones, and then that's it. Alright, then we can skip this one too. Alright, this is moving the manga. Oh no! Whoa! I saw that. Let's skip this one too. Alright, then we voluntarily go here. Oh yeah, the direction. Oh, this decision could permanently affect my relationship with Natsuki. Yeah, try to learn more, which we couldn't do because, again, previously I was already on Yuri's route at this point, so I had no choice. But how do I go about asking something like this? Even if that is what's going on, she probably wouldn't give me a straight answer. The girl's not a good liar, so inferring the truth probably wouldn't be hard, but the direct approach could cause her to try distancing herself from me. After about 2 minutes of inner debate over the matter, a plan comes to mind that can only be described as terrible under these circumstances. Oh well, it's not like there's anything else to go with. My routine begins as soon as she has finished cleaning the bowl in her hands. Hey Natsuki, mind if I ask you something? You already know my policy on that, don't you? Well, I do remember the terms, so I'm afraid this might fall under the banner of weird. Hence why I'm asking for permission first. It's hard to not be worried when you put it like that. But fine, what is it? Can I have a hug? Huh? Can you have a what? A hug? You know, an act of holding someone tightly in one's arms typically to express affection, that thing. I didn't ask for a definition, I meant why. It's been kind of a long day, you know, figured some light physical contact with the opposite sex might cheer me up a bit. Then why do you want one from me? Yeah, that's true, I would prefer one from Yuri or Natsuki, Sayori I mean. But preferably Yuri. Monika's fine too. Actually, anyone but you, Natsuki, but, you know, I feel harsher to exclude you specifically and out of everybody, so that's why we're here. Natsuki looks at me expectantly, face flushed and breathing heavily. Because you're the closest girl to me at the moment. That's the worst answer you could have given. I see. In that case, allow me to try again. Please, Natsuki, if I don't hug you soon, I'll no longer have reasons to live. My loneliness is bound to eat at my very heart and soul until I'm nothing more than a husk of a man. She seems less impressed by my deadpan performance. Was that better? I really have no idea how to handle you. That's reassuring. Being able to understand a personality as warped as mine isn't something a normal person should be able to do. So, what was all that for anyways? Were you just trying to mess with me again? A little, but I'm serious about the hug. You are? But why? And tell them the truth this time. Well, there's not really a good reason. It's mostly because I want to. You do? Natsuki practically shrinks in front of me. A guy randomly asks a girl for a hug. A guy randomly asks a girl for a hug is probably a big deal for people our age. Asking is what you mean, I think. I was hoping my composure would help lend itself to the situation, but that didn't seem to be the case. Listen, I'm not trying to court you by doing this. If you're thinking about all the nuances that a hug processes, don't. Possesses. Yeah, possesses. I'm a fairly straightforward person, all things considered. I want a hug, just a hug, no other reason. Are you serious? This isn't some joke or your attempt at trying something weird? Well, that was what seemed to be a mosquito, but I didn't kill him. I am. The only two people who would know about this are us, and we can keep it away, and we can keep it that way if you want. Plus, I'd probably feel like a criminal if I tried to make any sort of move on you. What's that supposed to mean? You're very short, Natsuki. Sorry, that was poor phrasing. I meant I'm not irresponsible enough to make a move on a girl while under the veil of dishonesty. So you really want to do it just because you don't have any other reasons? Can't say that I do, dummy. What was that? Nothing. I just said it was fine. But don't get the wrong idea. I'm not doing this because I like you or anything. You got that? I'm only doing it because we're in the same club. That seems like a strange reason to accept such an unusual request, but I won't complain. So how are we supposed to do this anyways? What do you mean how? It's a hug. Well, yeah, I know that. It's just you're a guy and all. Didn't know if it worked differently between guys and girls. I'm still a human being. I'm not made of some volatile material you have to handle with extreme care. Here, you just do this. Oh, hi. I take a step forward. I take a step towards Natsuki to engage the hug, but she stops me. Wait, I'm not ready yet! I see, my apologies for rushing things. Take all the time you need. Taking a few deep breaths, Natsuki tries to regain her composure. You're really serious about this? About doing this? This isn't just some sort of prank? I swear that I'm serious and that we are the only two who know about this. If by chance somebody did walk in while we were doing it, I would use any force necessary to make them forget what they saw, if that's what you wish. That seems a little excessive. Letting out an awkward laugh, the girl continues to hesitate. Fearing that if we take too long someone will really show up, I try to speed things up. Are you ready now? Yeah? Oh, she disappears. Hearing her confirmation, I take another step towards Natsuki and wrap my arms around her. I feel her trembling at first, but after about 5 seconds she seems to calm down. The conversation dragged on for so long that I almost forgot the whole reason I had asked her for this in the first place. Let's see. I lightly press my hands into her back and try to get a feel for her. She's not putting off very much heat, even near where her heart is. It'd be nice if I could tell whether her skin felt thin or not, but it's impossible to tell for sure with this thick uniform. What kind of logic is that even? Unable to get a definitive analysis, I turn my attention to her hair. It seems that she takes good enough care of it, but still, it doesn't have the volume or shine of a healthy high school girl's. I could probably pull out a decent chunk of it fairly easily, not that I plan to. My expression takes on a grim tone as I come to a conclusion. It's not a lot, but it looks like my concerns might actually be correct. There is some evidence that this girl may be malnourished. And now that I got an idea, what should I... My thought process grinds to a halt as I experience what feels like a jolt of electricity getting shot through my body. After hesitating for a few seconds after the initial hug, it seems like Natsuki has finally wrapped her arms around me, pulling herself closer in the process. What the hell was that? I pull my hands off of Natsuki a bit as I notice them beginning to tremble. This is strange. It's been several years since my hands have shook like this. Feeling myself starting to falter, I release my hug entirely. Thanks Natsuki, but that will be all. To my surprise, she doesn't seem to be budging from her embrace. Hey! I give her shoulder a little nudge to try and make her to snap out of it. Huh? Noticing what's going on, Natsuki immediately jumps back away from me. Don't get any funny ideas! I just didn't hear you say anything. Not hearing me is one thing, but how would you not notice the fact that I had pulled my arms away? Thinking it's best not to point out the holes in her tsundere routine, I begin speaking. Thanks for being a good sport, Natsuki. I'm feeling better already. Well, yeah, any guy would have been grateful for that. Not quite delivering this line with the confidence required to make it work, she proceeds to fidget awkwardly while not making eye contact. I see. Judging by your reaction, I am safe to assume that this is the first time you've hugged a guy that was the same age as you? It's not any of your business. And so what if it was? It's not like a little hug like that matters anyway. Seeming to try and convince herself as much as me, she continues to grumble under her breath. That aside, as far as hugs go, that wasn't too shabby. You were pretty awkward there at the start, but I think overall you did pretty well. That's not the kind of thing you're supposed to grade people on, dummy. I see. Seems like I still have a lot to learn when it comes to things of this nature. Talk about an understatement. Natsuki tries a minute to work through the lingering embarrassment she's accumulated before looking at me with a serious expression. Hey Mark, there's something you should know. And what would that be? Taking another second to gather her thoughts, she continues. You shouldn't do that kind of stuff with people unless you really like them. But all things considered, I'd say that And I'm not talking about... What? And I'm not talking about that like. I mean, you shouldn't do it unless you're in love with that person, you know? Otherwise, it'll stop feeling special, if that makes sense. I stand quietly after being thrown off by her sudden display of romantic knowledge. Interesting. Though, I imagine something like that falls into the category of common knowledge for most people. You think? That's about as basic as it gets. You really are a dummy if you can't figure out at least that much. You might be right about that. I'm aware of the fact that hugging is most often done between couples, but I've never seen it as a display of affection. To me, a hug only serves to confirm the existence of another person by using their body's warmth. If that warmth is missing, it shows the other person in question is either a ghost or just a dream. Rather, in some cases, it's more accurate to call them a nightmare. This being a nightmare that I find myself having all too often only a handful of years ago. I feel the pain in my chest beginning to intensify as I think about this. Are you feeling okay? You look kinda pale. Not that I'm actually concerned or anything. I give a half smile after being snapped out of my thoughts by Natsuki's inconsistency. Thanks Natsuki, really. I lift my hand up to rest on top of the girl's head. What the hell do you think you're doing? Patting your head? Sorry, I thought that part was obvious. I meant why? I'm not Sayori, you know. If you're asking whether or not I know you and Sayori are different people, then I'd say I am, in fact, aware of that. Then why are you still doing it? Apologies, it's just your head is at the perfect height for me to comfortably rest my hand. Do you wish for me to stop? Well, I guess it's fine just this once. But only because you seem to be in a bad mood. Don't make a habit out of it, okay? Understood, I'll be sure to make a note. Dummy. I pat Natsuki on the head for a little while longer before I've had my fill. Once finished, we recall that there are still some dishes left and quickly work to get them washed. With those out of the way, the two of us return to the club room. Okay. A few days later, again. A quick glance at my bookshelf shows me I'm dreadfully lacking in anything new to read. Hit up Yuri! You got any recommendations? The only title to stand out is The Lone Parfait Girls lying on top of the shelf. At this point I may even be desperate enough to ask Natsuki for the next volume. While standing here talking to myself isn't going to change anything. I grab the wallet set on my desk and before heading out of my room. The room. Now the bookstore. Where we got the reference books, and this was in Blue Skies too, I think, and it's in a lot of mods. Welcome! The clerk greets me as I step into the bookstore. Now then, stepping into an aisle. Aisles. I think you mean aisle, without the S. My focus is soon drawn to the back wall where light novels and manga are kept. The titles themselves don't interest me, but rather it's the pink-haired girl hunched over the new section that holds my attention. Natsuki? Ah! This isn't what it looks like! Turning to face me, her eyes go wide before she lets out a sigh of relief. Oh, it's only you, Mark. Thank goodness. That's probably the happiest you've ever sounded when greeting me. I'm honored. Don't get a big head over it. I'm just relieved you're not someone else from our school. Oh yeah, I forgot this pastime of yours is supposed to be a secret. You haven't been going around telling people, have you? And who is there to tell, exactly? I barely talk to anyone outside of the club. Oh, right. Just how long have you been here anyways? The club ended almost an hour ago. Huh? What do you mean? You're still in uniform? Which gave me the impression you headed straight this way after leaving school. Sorry to say, but your impression is a little off. I stopped by Yuri's place for a while after the club. I've only been here for a few minutes. Did you not invite her to come here with you? Figured coming to a place like this would be right up her alley. True, but there's a reason I didn't bring her. I came here to look at manga. Does Yuri have a problem with that? Not really, she just doesn't put manga on the same level as other books. So trying to talk about them with her never really gets me anywhere. Well, it's easy to imagine someone as prim and proper as her seeing manga as nothing but a medium for kids. Wait a minute, what about you? You're not trying to buy a new one without finishing Parfagos first, are you? I wouldn't dream of it. Just thought I'd try filling out my shelves a bit. You better not be lying. The striking difference between how her personality is now versus the last time we've spoken comes to mind as she glares at me. Should I assume whatever's been bothering you has cleared up? Huh? Bothering me? What are you talking about? You've been acting pretty strange around me recently, which made me think you were working through some stuff. I don't know what you're talking about. I see. Perhaps it was my imagination then. That wouldn't be a surprise given how little you understand people. True, there's no denying the possibility. She turns her attention back towards the shelf in an attempt to mask her embarrassment. The way I've been acting? Was it awkward? Awkward may not be the right words, but you've been rather fidgety lately, like you were anxious about something. I just assumed you had entered the wonderful world of substance abuse as a means of easing the boredom of everyday existence. That's what your mind goes to? No, not exactly. Part of me also thought you were still hung up on our hug from in the home ec room. She freezes solid. Of course the idea was quickly discarded after realizing how egotistical it sounded. Good. I mean, what girl would think twice about hugging a guy like you? The point's already been made, you know, no need for harsh words. Well, I may look like strong and resilient, my heart is still very much that of a maiden. She returns her attention to the manga following this awkward laugh. Still scanning through the shelves, I glance over to find Natsuki stood with a manga in each hand and looking vigorously between the two. Flipping a coin would probably be easier, you know? Yeah, right, like I'd leave a decision this important to chance. Two-Face would like to know your location. I almost never get a chance to buy new manga, so choosing one is a big deal. Well, they're certainly not the cheapest form of entertainment, but aren't there services you can use to read them digitally? Wouldn't those be the more economical choice? Yeah, but who wants to do that? Having a physical copy you can hold onto and look at is half the fun. Not to mention how amazing it feels having an entire set lined up in order. That is actually pretty damn satisfying though. Not specifically manga, but any like book or like DVDs. I still have DVDs back when that was normal. Now it's like, oh, you buy Blu-ray, or like, why don't you just have a Netflix subscription? Like, but you know, like I have like the entire Star Wars saga. Well, I don't have the newest 3 ones, but I have the original like 6 in DVD, like all lines exactly from 1 to 6, like like that meme from Emperor's New Groove where Pasha goes like this, like. that is what that feels like. So I mean, with manga, it's or book series in general, that would be the same. You're in your shelf and they're all lined up, or they're all alphabetically ordered or ordered by color or something like that. That I do agree with Natsuki on that one. Her smile reminds me of Kiba when he told me something similar. Which one do you think I should get? You're asking me? Are you aware that my input on such matter is completely useless? I don't think so much, okay? Just choose. In that case, we'll go with the one in your right hand. Does this one look more interesting? Nope. I chose it purely based on the fact that I'm right-handed. Well, I guess this is fine since I did say just choose. As she's going to put the other manga back on the shelf, I stop her. Mind if I looked at that one for a moment? Huh? But you said you weren't here to buy manga, right? What happened to finishing Parfait Girls? Those are unrelated issues? What's that supposed to mean? I look over at the book's back cover for a moment before returning my attention to her. Tell me, what would you say if I offered to buy this for you? Buy it for me? Why would you want to do that? Couldn't say for sure, honestly. Seeing you all happy while looking at it, you kind of made me want to. She stares at me wide-eyed for a few seconds before her gaze drifts towards the floor. It's fine. I don't need you buying anything for me, so it's fine. She heads toward the clerk before giving me time to respond. Guess her stubbornness should have been expected by this point. I look over the cover of the unchosen manga still in my hand. Now then, what should I do with this? Oh, I don't get to choose? Okay. He probably bought it, but you know, like when he said, oh, what to do? And I was like, oh, there's gonna be a choice, but no, apparently not. She looks at me irritated if she steps out of the bookstore. Didn't I tell you not to buy it for me? Yeah, there it is. In a sense, yes. Then who said I bought this for you? Huh? You're wrong if you think I purchased this with the sole intent of giving it to you. She looks dumbfounded for a moment before the irritation seeps back in. Then why'd you buy it? To keep, of course. But you said earlier that I wasn't intending to buy manga? Those were certainly my thoughts at the time. But even I'm swayed by impulse buying on occasion. Though none of this is to say you didn't have any influence on my decision. But you literally just said you weren't gonna give it to me. True, giving would be too close to charity, which I'm sure you already know my thoughts on. Loaning, on the other hand, should be perfectly fine. Huh? You've been lending me volumes of Parfait Girls, right? Even though I had no means of repaying your generosity? With this, I was hoping maybe we'd be able to balance out the scales a bit. Staying indebted has never really been my forte. So what, you just didn't want to feel like you owed me? That's certainly part of the reason. But having extra manga would also give the two of us more to talk about, wouldn't it? And who could resist having more one-on-one time with you? Still as weak to flattery as always, her face quickly takes on a shade of red. What are you saying? Have some shame for once. Yeah, sorry about that. Jeez. I can't help but feel a little happy as she turns away blushing. With that settled, mind if I walk with you home? Do what you want. She lets out a quick before haughtily starting down the sidewalk. Turning down into my street, I bring up a topic that wasn't properly wrapped up earlier. Not to put you on the spot or anything, but is there any reason you've been acting distant around me? Recently? She freezes up similar to before. It's fine if you can't tell me the exact details. I just wanted to know if I was the reason. That way I may be able to undo whatever caused the problem. Undo? Assuming it was something bad. I feel like our dynamic has been pretty wonky lately. Toxic as it may seem to outsiders, I enjoy our usual back and forth. Perhaps I'm alone in thinking that though. I mean, you say you're some really dumb and annoying stuff, not to mention you're a huge pervert. Seriously, Sayori's always clinging to you. You're always oogling Yuri, and whenever Monika talks you listen like some kind of teacher's pet. Your personality sucks. Talking to you feels like chatting with a robot. You look super punchable. You treat baking like a math problem. You don't understand what the word fun means. You act proud over the most useless things. Time out! There's a point in... Is there a point coming at the end of this, or are you just planning on venting endlessly? And whose fault is it that I've got so much to vent about? Honestly, the point is that you don't have a single redeeming quality. Oh, you little... But... I didn't say I dislike that. Whoa! Whoa! Natsuki, what the hell? What the fuck? You need to get a proper realization of how relationships work, Natsuki. Her face goes completely flushed upon saying something actually saying something honest. You might be a major pain to deal with, but talking to you is different from everyone else. Normally when I say something, Yuri says I'm being rude or Monika will laugh awkwardly, but you actually respond. Even if you do say irritating things, you're the only person who I can actually go back and forth with. Don't think that means you can just say whatever you want though. I still get really pissed off sometimes. Yeah, I see. What's so funny? Nothing. Was just thinking you're a lot more endearing than you let on. Huh? But if it wasn't something I did, does that mean there's another reason you've been acting different? Well, I think maybe I was just overthinking things. Like what? Like how you wouldn't like me if I kept acting this way. Even though we're barely a meter apart, she mumbles so quietly I can't pick up any of her words. I don't have supersonic hearing, you know? Forget it, stop being so nosy already. She lightly shoves me to the side. She lightly shoves me in the middle of the road as cars are approaching. Before beginning to pout. The two of us approach my house a few minutes later, after which I offer to walk her the rest of the way. She responds by calling me a suspicious person before promptly darting off. A few days later. Alright, well, I'll end off the episode here. See you guys for the next one. Hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, like I said, we'll continue the Monika route, I almost said. The Natsuki route in the next one. See you at Romans. Walete.